She came home reeking of another man's cologne. Bruises she refused to explain. I didn't ask questions or raise my voice. I didn't need to. Some truths don't require confession. They announce themselves in silence. I watched her move through our kitchen like a guest, avoiding my eyes, pouring wine with shaking hands. When she left for her next business trip, I packed everything that mattered and left the rest behind. She returned to an empty house and a note that ended everything. He can keep what's left. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me start from the beginning, back when I still believed marriage was built on trust, back when I thought loyalty didn't need proof, back when I assumed love couldn't quietly rot inside a shared home. My name is Aaron Cole, and I own a small renovation company in Briarwood, New Hampshire. I fix kitchens, basements, roofs, anything people depend on to feel secure. My wife, Natalie, worked in corporate consulting, flying out weekly, living in hotels more than our house. We'd been married 14 years, no kids, just schedules and responsibilities stitched together like a contract. Early on, she admired my reliability. I admired her ambition. Over time, ambition turned into distance. She started treating home like a pit stop, rushing through conversations, distracted even when sitting beside me. I told myself successful marriages adjusted. I told myself absence didn't mean betrayal. Meanwhile, the space between us grew, filled with things she never explained and questions I avoided asking. The changes came slowly, then all at once. New clothes she never wore around me. Late-night calls she took outside. Credit card charges from restaurants I'd never been to. When I asked, she laughed it off. Client dinners, she said. Networking. Her phone never left her hand, and if I walked into a room, conversations ended abruptly. One night she came home past midnight smelling unfamiliar, her jacket carrying a sharp, expensive cologne that didn't belong to me. Another morning I noticed dark marks on her thighs she brushed off as clumsiness. I didn't accuse her. I observed. I documented. Because when something doesn't add up, pretending it does only delays the damage. I wasn't paranoid. I was waking up, slowly, painfully. The confirmation didn't come through confrontation. It came through patterns. Tuesdays and Thursdays were late meetings. Fridays were team dinners. Saturdays were work travel recovery. I drove past her office one evening when she claimed she'd be there all night. The building was dark. Her car wasn't there. I found it downtown outside a hotel bar instead. Through the window, I saw her laughing with a man who leaned too close, his hand resting where familiarity had already settled. This wasn't a mistake. It was a routine. I sat in my truck until clarity replaced disbelief. By the time she came home hours later, showered and slipped into bed, I knew one thing for certain. I wasn't going to beg for honesty from someone who practiced deception professionally. I didn't change overnight. I prepared. Quietly. I opened a separate account, redirected my business income, copied statements, photographed receipts. I contacted a lawyer recommended by a client who'd survived betrayal without losing himself. She told me not to react emotionally, only strategically. While Natalie planned her next trip, I planned my exit. I sorted our life into categories. Mine, hers, and shared. I took my tools, documents, family photos, and personal belongings. I left everything she valued, furniture, decor, expensive things that once impressed guests but meant nothing to me anymore. When she announced another conference, I smiled, drove her to the airport, kissed her cheek, and came home to dismantle a lie we'd been living for months. She was gone 3 days. That's all it took. My crew helped me move into a small apartment above an auto shop across town. It wasn't pretty, but it was honest. When the house was empty, I walked through it once more, checking drawers, closets, memories. On the kitchen counter, I placed the keys and a note. 5 words. No explanations. No accusations. Just the truth she'd earned. He can keep what's left. I locked the door behind me and didn't look back. That night, my phone filled with missed calls and messages I didn't open. Silence felt cleaner than arguments. For the first time in months, I slept without questions circling my mind like unfinished business. The fallout arrived quickly. She panicked, calling friends, lawyers, anyone who might help her regain control. But control doesn't survive evidence. The lawyer handled communication. Receipts spoke louder than excuses. In a town like Briarwood, people notice patterns. They noticed her sudden absences, her sudden explanations, her sudden loneliness. I kept working, kept my head down, kept my dignity intact. Some nights were quiet. Some mornings were heavy. But none of them were humiliating. I learned that walking away isn't weakness when staying means erasing yourself. She tried rewriting the story. The note stopped that. It said I knew. It said I was done. And it said more than any argument ever could. The divorce finalized without drama 6 months later. She moved to another city, another firm, another version of herself. I stayed. I rebuilt slowly, intentionally. I didn't lose everything. I lost a marriage built on secrets and gained peace built on truth. Sometimes people ask why I never confronted her. I tell them confrontation wouldn't have changed anything. Choices were already made. I simply stopped participating in the lie. That note wasn't revenge. It was closure. Love can survive many things, but not contempt and deception living side by side. When someone chooses another life, the only power left is choosing yourself. I did. And that decision, quiet and final, gave me back something I hadn't felt in years. Respect.